Oh, thank you. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us. And today we're having day 9 of our 30 days of learning, and we are delighted to have you all. And also, um, yesterday we did the part 1 for the building an automated solution. And if you've not watched that, you can always go back to check the recording. It will be shared on the WhatsApp group, and you can also check it on Twitter, and it should also be shared by Javlet to go back and check that. But that doesn't mean if you're not here yesterday, you would still. I'm sure our speaker would definitely do a refresh, so I also follow up with us. And if you're here yesterday, I'm sure you learned a lot from yesterday, and that is just a tip. Our speaker will be going in depth today on Power Automate and building an automated solution. And our speaker is a Microsoft certified trainer, also a Microsoft certified professional, and she's a business application developer. And without wasting much time, I present to you all Omolola Alfred. Omolola Alfred.
All right, thank you so much, Toby, for that introduction. Good afternoon once again, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you are joining us from, or whatever time you are watching this session. Okay, so let me just go over what we are going to be doing today. All right. So before I go over what we're doing today, so this is me. My name is Omolola Alfred. I'm a business application developer, and my hobbies, well, I love listening to music. I love stargazing, and I like reading. But like I said yesterday, hobbies do change. So maybe the next time, this won't be the hobbies you're going to see. So the agenda for today. So we'll be having a quick recap on what we did yesterday. Then we're going to be looking at Power Automate expression. We'll be looking at switch control, condition control, Outlook connector, and we are going to be adding our form, the form we built yesterday, the same form. We'll be adding the form to our SharePoint site. All right. So without uh, further ado, I'm going to just share the Power Automate Studio and we'll continue building. All right. So give me a minute. Let me drag that here. All right. So can you see my screen?
Oh, yes, I can. It's
Okay.
visible.
All right. So if you are still following, can you drop on the chat box, I am still following, or yes, or anything like that, so that I'll know that we are still together. Great. All right. So a recap what we did yesterday. So this is the form we built yesterday. Let's go back. All right. So this is the form we built yesterday. Staff request. We added staff name, email, departments, job title, request type, request reason. So for all these, the department, the job title, the request type, the request type, these three, we use the choice column on forms so that whatever department you're going to choose is going to be the same. It's going to be unified, all right? Then after we did that, we also created and SharePoint list. So we use the SharePoint list as our database. So we add all of this, and everything that they store or everything that they put in their forms is going to submit on this SharePoint list. So after we did that, then we came here to Power Automate, and okay, not this. So we came here, this Power Automate, and we created a flow. So since I promised that we're going to do a recap, let me just show us what we did on the flow. Here we added this. So yesterday I explained that for Power Automate, we have triggers, we have actions, and we have connectors. All right. So I explained that for our trigger is whatever starts the event. So what is starting the event is your trigger. What is starting your flow is your trigger. So your trigger is listening to or is waiting for an event to happen. So once an event happens, your Power Automate would be triggered. Then the actions that you've selected will start happening. So what we did was we add a trigger, which is when a response is submitted. So anytime a response is submitted, it's going to get the response details. Once it gets the response details, it is going to create an item. So where is it creating an item? We explained that a connector is what connects you to, a connector can connect you to a database and all of that. So here we have the SharePoint connector. So we are saying that this card should call on an item. So this card should create an item in SharePoint. So we already have our SharePoint columns and all of that created already. So we just want, whenever you submit a response, we want items to go and store in that database. So we explained that those columns are like containers. All right. Then we once you do this, we want the admin to be able to approve on a go. And so after that, we updated the SharePoint list to carry the approval status. That's whatever, if the approval approves, then you will see it there. If the approval rejects, you see it there, and the response of the summary. So everything, the name of the approval, the person who is approving, and their response. And when we were done, I sent the link to the chat window. Everybody filled, and so everybody filled, and when we were done, we saw the action live. All right. So today we are going to push this up a notch. We're just going to do more than what we did yesterday. Okay, so for the agenda again, we have quick recap, we have expression, we have switch. So I'll be coming back to check this so that we are on the same page. So now we are going to add an expression. So we are going to add expression. So what are expressions in Power Automate? Now you know that on the first day when we were doing introduction to Power Platform, we told you that for Power Platform, it is low code or no code. So here we are going to be writing just little code. Expression is like writing little code. If you are familiar with Excel expression, you would definitely get this right. And even if you're not, it's still fine. All right. So we're just going to add a compose card. So just take, like I said, if you don't know what you want to add, you can just type the name. So I know what I want to add. I want to add the compose. Just take a compose card as a container. So add the compose card, and we are going to write an expression. So for you to write an expression, I explained what dynamic content is yesterday, and today we are going to use expression. So you click on the expression button here, and you are going to write an expression. So what expression do we want to write? We want to write date. We want to get the date of today. Let's see. Okay. So I already added, okay, let me just delete this and add it again. All right, so I'm just going to add, I'm going to go ahead and add a column, which is dates. So, but for this, I'm going to make this date single line of text because my date is coming from the expression that we are going to write now. So what I want to happen is that whenever you feel this, in fact, you don't need to pick date at all. Anytime you submit a response, I want to get the date of the day that you've submitted that response. Now there's something called metadata. So metadata are columns on SharePoint that comes with it. All right. When you create a SharePoint list, there are some columns. I showed us yesterday. There are some columns that comes with this SharePoint list. So we have a column called created. So what created does is that it gives you the date and time of the day that you've created it. However, I don't want that. So I'm just going to bring in a date column. And that's what we've done. We added the column date. And we're going to come back here and we are going to write an expression. Okay. So there's something called UTC now. So we'll say UTC. Sorry, I make this mistake almost every time. All right, so you have to write inside this expression tab here. So UTC now. You can see once you start writing it to complete it to bring out all the functions that we have. So that is pertaining to UTC. So you click on UTC now, and inside UTC now will give me the dates, right? But I'm going to put in a format. How do I want to see this? I want to see this as my date, my month, and my year. So I'm going to just put that in a single quote. I'm going to put the date separated by hyphen, month in capital separated by hyphen, then year. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the format at which my date is going to come. So okay. Now, once you've done this, so I was explaining yesterday that whenever you want to write whenever you want to automate processes, is as simple as what exactly do I want to do? Okay, so let's go back again. What do we want to happen? We want that whenever we submit a response, you should take our response. So when a response is submitted, this flow is going to be triggered. Then the next thing that I want to happen is that I want to get my response details too. Now, the next thing I want to happen is that this is a container, okay, which is compose. Now I've put in the expression. So for my compose, I use my compose as a container. So today I want you to think of this compose as a container housing this expression. Now that this is done, anytime a response is created, what do I want to happen? I want to pass in my dates. So they don't need to write dates. I'm just going to come here. And I also explained yesterday that the dynamic content of any card that you put in here. So if you want to see the dynamic content of compose, that means that you have to place compose card above where you need to call on the dynamic content. All right. So now I need this date. So I need to put in this compose card above this above where I need it, which is on create items. Now it is also best practice that whenever you bring in a card, name it. You need to rename it. So this card is called compose. I need to come here and rename this card to date. What is it doing is date. So if I want to leave it as, if I want to know that, okay, it's a compose card that I use, I can just come here and do date underscore, I can just say date expression. So I told us yesterday that for me, I I like writing this in camel casing. So date expression, right? Date expression underscore compose, however you want to write it, doesn't matter. So when you come in here, your dates, you can see date expression underscore compose. So this is the output of that date. So I come in here and put this. So whenever this item is created, not only is it going to get staff name and all of this, it's also going to get these dates. So now we have dates. So what, and now we have done expression. So what's the next thing that we have that we want to do? So let's go back to the PowerPoint and check again. So we want to do a switch control. So if you are, so now the beautiful thing about Power Automate is whether you are just starting, you don't know anything at all about coding, or you are already a programmer, this is just like it's a good place to start. All right. So now, if you are very familiar with programming and all of that, you will understand what switch, when they say switch statement, you understand what that means. But if you don't, let me show you what the idea or what we are trying to achieve. So now, let's go back again. A new response has been submitted. So my flow has been triggered. And I've gotten the response. Okay. And I've written an expression to get the date, the current date. And I've added it to it. So I'm going to see the dates on the database. Now, here we have start and wait for approval. So the use case, I explained the use case yesterday, and I didn't bother going back to explain the use case today. So let me just do that. So basically, the use case is that there's a company, there's an organization called Omolola Organization. So this organization, they have so many things they're doing. However, they have just 2 admin staff. So the admin staff, that's me and Oluwatobi Yusuf. So they have so many requests from staff of the organization coming to say, oh, so we need a new system, I need fund for this, I need that, and everything is just done manually. So we want to automate that process, and also we don't want to reduce what the admin staff, what they do. So, however, we got a very big project yesterday in this company, Omolola company, so or Omolola organization. So we added 2 new staff members. Okay. So what I want to do now is that, and these 2 new staff members, they are not admin members, they are head of departments. So what I want to do now is anytime an item has been created, okay, before the approval gets to the admin, I want the approval to first go to these people, these 2 staff members. They are head of departments, IT head of department and engineering head of department. So I want your approval to go to them first. So I'm going to have a switch control. So I'm going to bring in my switch control right in here. So this is control. This shows you all the control that we have, the condition, the apply to each, the do until, the scope, and all of that. So you can see switch right here. I'm going to click on this. And so it's asking you on what value are you looking at? Now, I just said that we have 2 head of departments. So depending on the department that you choose, it's going to route your approval to that department. So on what? I want you to look at department. So switch based on department. Okay. And basically means that if I have 10 departments, I want you to switch based on whatever department that has been chosen here. So we have different cases, okay? So each case represents each department. So now let's go back to check the departments that we have, because you have to type it exactly. It has to be exactly how those departments are written, okay? So here we have sales and marketing, we have HR, we have engineering, we have research, and we have IT. So the two staff members that we have are just their head of engineering and head of IT. So I'm just going to be picking engineering and IT. All right. So we come here and we say engineering. Okay, let's see, is it correct? Engineering, yes. Then IT. So you can add cases to this. So I'm going to add one more case and say that this is IT. All right. And default means that if no case contains a matching value, all right, sorry about that. Okay, so it's basically saying that if no case contains a matching value, so once you submit the response and it will check, okay, you've submitted the response, you want me to check department. Did you choose engineering? No. Did you choose IT? Yes, it will do whatever I put here. You say add action, you should put whatever action I do under IT. If it doesn't, if you did not choose IT and you did not choose engineering, then whatever you put here is what is going to happen. Okay, so if no case contains a matching value, do anything that is here. So what do we want to happen? Now, I and Toby, we don't want to be, because we are the admin staff, remember. So we don't want to be receiving all this. We don't want to start approving. We only want to approve whatever requests that first your department head has approved. Okay. So since we have this start and wait for approval, I'm just going to drag it inside here. Okay, good. So here we have, yesterday I also explained the different types of start and wait for approval, different type of approval card that we have. So just go ahead and watch that video. I won't be explaining that again. Okay, so here we're going to pick first. We're going to pick first to respond. No, we're going to choose. Yeah, we're going to pick first to respond. Okay. So I'm also going to change the people that I've assigned this to. Okay, so title, request type, assigned to. So the engineering lead is Shale. We're just going to look for Shale in the organization. See Sean Peterson. Yes, so I wanted to go to Sean Peterson and then to Omolola Alfred. Okay. This is fine. Then case 2, IT. Okay, so let's just name this. Let's rename this. I told us whenever we add, let us rename. So we are going to add this start and wait for approval for engineering. Engineering. All right. So now the new head of IT is Annabelle. So we're going to do the same thing. Okay. We are going to start and wait for an approval. So here's another thing I can just do because I don't want to start doing all of this. Just going to do this. So I'm going to copy this to my clipboard and I'm going to come here, rename this engineering. So my clipboard, I have start and wait for an approval. This is not clicking. Okay, fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and add start and wait for approval card. So I told us, you know what you're looking for, approval, you search that, you see all the cards. So we have start and wait for an approval, wait for an approval, create an approval, start and wait for an approval. Approval type, first to respond. Title, let me just look at this. So title, I chose request type. Request type assigned to, so I said the new head is Annabelle. So let's look for Annabelle here. Annabelle. After Annabelle, I wanted to go to Omolola. Okay. Oh, so after Annabelle, I wanted to go to Toby. Wait. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy everything that I have in here. Copy. Uh-oh. Okay. So I'm going to copy what I have in here. Oh, let's do that again. All right. So it's not allowing me to go the lazy route. So I'm just going to type everything again. All right. Staff name. Choose a staff name. From explained all of this yesterday. So staff name is going to come with the name of the person from the department. So Omolola from IT department. I've submitted a request. Find the details below. All right. So now the details, request type, request. It's going to be my type in this segment. Request type. So the request type is whatever request type that you choose. Let's be fast because we have other things that we need to learn today. So request reason is whatever your request reason is. And the item link is linking them to that particular item in SharePoint. So let's look for the item link. Well, now we find the link, or should we just go ahead? Okay, it's the link to the item. Now we are done with IT, we're done with engineering, we are going to move ahead to, so what should happen if no case contains a matching value? So if we don't have for engineering and we don't, if the responses, the people that submit the response, if they are not from engineering department or IT department, what we want to happen? We want it to send to Toby because I am very busy at the moment. So we're just going to send them to Toby. So I'm going to do the same thing again, approval. Just send away from approval. Approval card, first response, this is required. Title, we want this to be, okay, your title is your request type. Assigned to who now? Toby. Okay, good. So details, let's just quickly peep. Okay, details, staff name from staff name. Okay. Staff name is from dynamic content and it's from whatever department the person has chosen. Submitted a request. Submitted a request. Find the details below. Find the details below. Uh, mm. Let me just try this again because I really do not like same thing over and over again. That's why Power to Meet is for, Power to Meet is for people like us that don't like too much work. Okay, so request type, request reason, then we add the link to that particular item on SharePoint. Link to item. Yeah, they're done. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to look at Outlook connector. So then after that, we're going to add this form to SharePoint site. So Outlook connector. So I'm just going to close this so that I would do this. Now, let's go over it again. When a response is submitted, get response details, date, expression, create item, switch based on the department. So once the approval has gone to the department heads or goes to Toby, the next thing we want to do is that we want to update this with the approval status value. We want to update this with the approval status value. As outcome, we did this yesterday. Nothing is changing. Approval response. The date is already there, so we don't need to add it. Now, another thing that I want to do is that as is updating this, I also want to send a mail. I want to send a mail to the person that has sent this. Send a mail, and the mail is going to contain the outcome of the approval. So there's something called parallel branch. So it means that as this is happening, this will also be happening. Okay, so immediately they approve, whether they approve or they reject, this is going to happen and this is going to happen at the same time. Okay, so we want to send a mail, right? Just type in mail. You will see all the cards that we have. So this is, so just type send mail. I want to send a mail. Send mail. Send an email. So like I said, this is connector. So this is the Outlook connector, and we want to send a mail. So send an email to who? So we're just going to use the dynamic content, all right? So we want to get the responder's email. Now, you would ask, why is this email here and why is responder's email here? So responder's email is the dynamic content that comes from the form that you've added. So anytime anybody sends you a request, this responder's email is going to be there. Now, this email is a field on the form for them to fill, but I don't trust people, so I'm going to use responder's email. Why? For this email, they can decide to use another person's email. Okay, so I want to get the email from the phone that you are, the email attached to the phone or the system that you're sending this. So even if you use your friend's phone to fill, it's going to get me that email. Okay, so responder's email, So you can see email address of responder who submitted the form. So this one is just, like I said, the field that you added, email field right here. See, this email field, yes. Okay. So the subject is what's that? Request type. Let's see how this sounds. Approval outcome of what? Of this request type. So what are the request type? Let me see if I'm speaking the right English. Oh, I've closed the form. Let's just think about employer question. Okay. So just come here, get the form, start request. All right. So, device renewal, yes, of resource fund. So yes, this works well. So approval outcome of whatever your request type is, and dear the person's name, it automatically gets the person's name. So you can either pick from here or you can pick from the form. It's the same thing. So you can just, but let's just pick the recent one as staff name. So dear staff name. Yeah, is your your request which is what I'm going to put the request type here, has been so your request has been what you're going to put the outcome of the start and wait for an approval. Okay, so we're meant to name the start and wait for an approval. We're meant to rename this. So another thing we can just do is this. Another thing we can do is inside here, inside each case, we can send an email. Inside each case, we don't need to actually do it after it has been sent. So let's delete this guy, or rather, let's just copy this guy. Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. All right, so we can have a mail inside this email. Okay, we copied it. So let's see if it pastes. Why is this not working? Okay. So we're just going to go to lazy apps. You can send an email. Okay. So we're sending an email to whoever has dropped this. Responders email created by email. Responders email. So I can't remember what we typed in there, but we're just going to give a subject. So we'll make the subject response requested. Okay. So for the body is just going to be dear, the name, Let's be fast. Clear staff name. Or request type. So let's speak proper English. So your request. Sorry, I'm not putting on my glasses, so I'm typing your request. Okay. The request type has been now. We are going to choose it has been what? Approved or reject. We don't know. So we are going to choose it has been outcome. Okay, so this is start and wait for an approval for the engineering. So we're going to choose as an outcome for this because we are in the start and wait for approval. We are in the engineering case. So I'm going to do the same thing for this guy. Same thing for this guy. Start and wait. Send an email rather. Send an email to dynamic content. Send an email to respond this email. Subject plus the subject again. Let's just copy and paste. Also, yes. Up here, the same thing. So their staff name your request has been. Now the outcome is going to be different. This outcome is for this engineering, and this outcome now is for IT. So start and wait for. Yeah, we're going to go to the dynamic content. Start and wait for an approval. It's not just start and wait for an approval. It is start and wait. Okay, exactly start and wait for approval. We didn't change. We didn't rename this. So let's rename just so we are not confused and it is best practice. So start and wait for an approval IT. But if you come here, you're going to see start and wait for an approval IT outcome. So your request, the request type has been whether approval or reject. So here's another thing. Best regards. Best regards. I'm just going to say power to meet. Just for fun. Best regards, power to meet. And I'm going to just play around yourself. Say power to the people. Power to the people. Okay. So let me just copy that for this guy. Okay. Now, what do I want to happen when if no case contains the matching value? Start and wait for an approval. The same thing. I'm just going to send an email again. Going to send an email. Same thing. To who? Dynamic content, the same person. Respondent's email. Now, this is start and wait for an approval too. So let's just make this name. Let's make it start and wait for an approval. All right. So the same thing. Let's just copy everything that we have in here. I'm going to change what we need to change when we get to where we need it. Outcome, you know that it's not the same outcome. So you're going to choose the outcome of start and wait for an approval, whatever outcome is start and wait for an approval outcome. All right. Great. Then it doesn't have a subject. Subject is response. I'm just going to copy the subject. Good. Now we are done. Okay, that's what we have. So it's updating this based on the outcome. Now, the beautiful thing is, let's see, Did I write that among what we're going to do? Condition control. Now, I'm going to show you condition control quickly because we still need to attach your form to SharePoint site. So condition control, and I'm going to tell you the difference between the switch control and the condition control. So this condition control just has if yes or if no. The switch control allows you to choose multiple. So if you want to compare between a lot of cases, if you have like, let's say 10 cases, you want to compare, you use switch. If you just want to compare between two things, if yes or if no, you use your condition control, and that's the difference between the two. So for this one now, I want to use a condition. Okay, we don't even need a condition. I just found out now that we don't need a condition control here. So I'm going to copy this, although copying it has not been working. I'm going to delete this. All right. So I'm thinking about this as we are I'm thinking about this as we are building. So that's the same way you do, like I told us yesterday. So as you're building, you think about it. As you're building, you think about it. So now I saw that I don't need to add a condition control. However, I've told us the difference between switch control and condition control. So what I'll just do is I'm going to update my item based on my case, okay? Because the outcome that I'm going to update on my SharePoint list is different. This outcome for this can be different from outcome from that and that and that and that. So I'm just going to come here and drag in this guy here. Let's see. Okay, we have 12 minutes. I'm going to try today not to exceed the time. All right. So the outcome for this guy, you can see start and wait for an approval engineering. So choose the outcome for that guy. Approval response, do the same thing. Response summary. We'll do the same thing for this case here. And also, you can also rename the case, but I'm not going to do that because I'm just going to add update. That's one. So update item. And so like I said, you should rename all of this, but our time is fast spent, so I'm not going to bother with that. Staff request ID is the ID of the created item. The item you created, you want to update it, so you want to refer to this particular ID. So approval status value, approval response, come in here, enter custom value, choose the outcome for IT. The outcome for IT. Okay. Outcome for IT sitting here. Approval response will be response summary. So the same thing, the same thing. This guy, we are going to do the same thing again. Update item. And we are almost done. Okay. Same thing, request receipt. Okay, not request reason. Approval status, enter custom value. The approval status. Start and wait for an approval. So the outcome of this and the outcome of your approval response. Response summary. Okay. Now we are done. What we need to do is to save your flow. Always remember to save your flow. If not, everything we just did will be lost. So now that our flow has been saved, we're going to do what we did yesterday. So I'm going to go here and I will paste the link on the chat window. All right, so if you are still following, please type yes, 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 or yes. So if you're still together, type yes, type yes. Let me see your yes, 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 yes. All right, Joseph, I see you. You're still together. Sunday, I see you. Okay, so this is the link to the form like we did yesterday. Quickly, let us fill this form and see. Let's fill the form. Let's fill the form. Let's fill the form. Quickly, quickly. Let's see how it's working. So we built this form together, all of us. We built it together. So whatever we see working, we all did it together. All right. So we are going to go to the run history, and we're going to see the flow, the run history. All right, go ahead and fill. Go ahead and fill. Okay. All right. Let me just refresh this. I can see that I have a mail already. By who? Who sent this? Question by Omolola Alfred. Okay, so it's saying Shell from engineering has submitted a request. Find the details below. Request type, research funds, request reason for services rendered. What service did you render? Okay, let's just approve. Do I want to approve? No, sure. I'm going to reject this. I cannot recall. Done. All right, I'm still waiting for our responses. So now, for that, like I said, we have the reason we cannot see this yet is either our team leads have not approved. Team lead Annabelle, team lead Shion. Please let's check our mail. So I saw to us that you can see it in your teams, you can see it in your mail. So now that I've rejected this, let's see. So you can see it here. What I just rejected now, research funds rejected. And we can see research funds. I prefer attending to this from my teams. Do we have anything to accept or reject? Nothing from Annabelle. Do we have anything? Nothing from Sean either. Please, let's fill the form. Let's fill the form. All right, so let's see. I have some things that are pending here. Toby, please, let's also see if you have any requests there so you can approve. Oh, so this flow failed. All right, we're going to check why it failed. That's no problem. When you see any error, you should be happy. So you just read the error and you're going to do that. Okay, so come to your switch, edit. Okay, let's go back so I can read the error. Let's attend to this first one. This first one says an action, no dependent action needed. Okay, case, what's it saying? So you can see that the start and wait for approval worked. Then send an email. Okay, input parameter. Anonymous. All right. Okay. So it's not getting the name from the response, the form response. We're just going to come here and attend to that. Then we're going to rerun all of this so you don't have to fill it in. So you can see it is to responders email. So I'm going to change this from responders email to this email, the email you filled. All right. So we did the same thing for this so that we don't have to come back here. We're just going to change it. So this email. This to this email. Okay, great. All right, let's save. Let's check. Is there any other place that we choose that? Okay. All right, so this is what I want to do. So I've saved this. Let me just save again so that there won't be any mistake at all. Okay, so let's come here. You sent this 4 minutes ago. So I'm going to run this again. Okay, so now what I can just do, I can just come to all run and just do this. So everything is going to run again. Okay. Okay, so this. So no, let's not choose everything. Let's just choose this for we submit flow routes. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's see. All right. Approvers, please check. Do we have any? All right. So we have please go to your teams. I want to see the details. Okay, so from here we have Faye Rogers from IT has submitted a request. Find the details below. Okay, so all right, let us approve Faye Rogers. Faye Rogers. Who else? So just Faye Rogers from. Okay, we also have Sunday Inamani from IT has requested oh, internet fee. Should we approve? Yeah, let's approve. I think I rejected Sunday's mail yesterday. Approve. Okay. Team, do we have any? All right. So our team leads are working well. All right, let's come back here to see if we have any other issues. Okay, so we have succeeded. We have one that is still running. Who is this? So you can, so the run history helps you to monitor your flow. Okay, I've exceeded the time. This is Joseph Darius. Okay, this is Joseph. Where is he again? Who have you submitted to? Let's see. All right, so Joseph, you didn't choose either IT or engineering. Let's see what happens. All right, okay, so Toby, please help us approve. Toby, are you here? Please kindly help us approve. You can approve or reject, however, whatever you want. Hi, Toby. So our admin staff, Toby, might be queried because he's not approving. But he needs to approve. Hi, Toby, are you there? Please, can you kindly help us approve or reject? All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the final thing because, so this final one, Toby has refused to approve your, who is this again? Joseph. So Joseph, I'm so very sorry. Toby has refused to approve your request. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the final thing. I'm sorry for taking our time. I did not want to take our time today, but approve. All right, so quickly, what we just want to do here is we want to attach. So if I don't want to be sending you the link to the form, all I just want to do, I just want to come here to attach the link to this form here. So learn about my company. I'm just going to edit. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to edit it here. I'm going to change this to be employee request form. Employee request form. And this link, I'm going to change this link here. So it's going to say from a link, yes. So what link? I'm going to come here, copy this link, and paste it here. So another thing I want to do, I want to change this background image. I just want to quickly use some custom image. All right, so there's one here, change. Now I want to pick this one, insert. And I'm just going to republish. The publishing, and there we go. So we have our employee request form here. If you click on this, you can see the staff request form, and you can just fill from here. So instead of maybe sending the link to all the chat of all your teams or your department, all you can just do is, okay, hi everybody, go to our SharePoint site and you can see the employee request there and you fill from there. All right. So sorry for taking your time. We have come to the end of this training. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So Joseph, I'm sorry for not approving this. All right, do we have any question? Does anybody have any question? So if you have any question, quickly, you can just raise your hand. I will give you the permission to speak. So raise your hand if you have any question. All right, I cannot see any hand raised. Thank you so much for joining us today. So we'll see you tomorrow, same time, 4 to 5, same time, same link. I'm sure that the person that will be teaching us tomorrow will not take our time. All right. Thank you so much for attending the day 9 of 30 days of learning. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate having you. Join us tomorrow, 4 to 5. Thank you very much.